We're live. We're live, everybody. Okay, you're up.
Okay, so the first severance application is B49 at 385 Mill Street, Palmerston. And basically, the owners are proposing severance that fronts onto King Street and backs onto the unopened road allowance on Victoria Street. And they are, this is for a proposed new residential lot. And the retained parcel of the severance is at 385 Mill Street. And it currently has residential and current uses with an existing house, auto repair business, and 2 shops on the retained parcel. So staff met to look at these 2 applications, and the water foreman informed us that there is no water, sewer, or stormwater services to the severed lot, proposed severed lot, though there is servicing available, but it's not at the property line. If you look at your sketch, there is an easement, a stormwater easement that travels underground from King Street to Victoria Street, and there's catch basins at either end of that. And it, as you'll see by your sketch, that the easement actually crosses the southwest corner of the lot 44. And they also noted that the entrance would be off of King Street, which is Wellington County Road 8. The chief building official advised that these lots have a very low elevation and that it would require a drainage plan and/or deposit prior to the issuance of a building permit, and that currently these lands are rezoned or would require rezoning from a C2 to an R2 and possibly even an official plan amendment. And the clerk's department did advise that the applicants or the owner has submitted an official plan amendment with the county, and they've also submitted a zoning bylaw amendment with the town. It would require the $500 cash in lieu of parkland would apply, as well as frontage fees would not apply, as the applicant would be required to contribute to the costs of the servicing of the lots, and therefore a site plan agreement would be required outlining how the owner would extend to the full municipal services at their expense to the town's satisfaction. So the planner actually is recommending a deferral. They feel that the application is premature because that it does require an official plan amendment, and we have received, the town received notice this week that they have applied for the official plan, but it's incomplete application. So I think the planner just feels that they would like to see the application of the official plan a little bit further along, if not completed before the severance is approved. The staff, the planner's comments are attached there. They also talk about the servicing to the satisfaction of the town for safe driveway access. Again, that would be off the county road. Again, they talk about the official plan and the zoning requirements for that. So if council decides that they would like to support this application and make that recommendation to the Planning Land Division, we've set out 5 conditions staff has that we would like to see conditions that are met. One being that all financial requirements are met, which would include the $500 cash in lieu of parkland, and that a servicing agreement to the satisfaction of the town be executed for the servicing and or through a development agreement for the 3 different services for that lot, and also that that the official plan application and zoning are met to the satisfaction of the county and the town, and that 100% of the water and sewage servicing and stormwater connection is at the cost, 100% at the cost of the owner's expense, and that safe driveway access is permitted. Any questions?
Questions for Peggy?
Mayor Bridge, in light of the fact that the county is asking for a deferral, rather than
Yeah,
sort of having to bring it back here, I think the other planning applications are eventually going to catch up. And we could amend the recommendation that at such time as the county considers the severance, these are our comments, and then it doesn't have to come back here.
Well, that makes sense. That's what I thought. I mean, we're not gonna jump to the county, but rather than have it come back all the way here again. Does everybody understand that? Questions, concerns about that?
The only thing flag that jumps out at me is the drainage issue. Which way would the water have to be drained off that section of the
Well,
Straight back, east? Right towards the
Eric?
center?
Right now it heads from Mill Street towards Main. And essentially the grading plan is just to ensure that depending on how the lots develop, that they don't stop the water from continuing its natural flow path. That, yeah, basically it's just swaled or
But that is
ditched, whatever.
susceptible to
Yeah,
that
yes
type
it
of
is,
thing,
yeah.
that area.
Yeah.
So that's the flag that jumps out at
Yeah.
me.
would the satisfaction of the town of Minto, though, would that satisfy, like the?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're covered there with
We're
the
covered with that.
servicing
Yeah.
arrangement condition.
Is part of drainage bringing the level of soil up to where it should be, or is that,
That's up to the applicant.
so however you get the drainage done, that's how it gets done?
Yeah, we don't have any elevation standards or anything like that. Yeah, it is low. I'm
Yeah.
assuming, and just looking at the topography of that area, I'm kind of guessing they're just going to end up stripping the topsoil and starting the footings there and importing fill. So I can see it's going to be a taller lot at the end of the day,
It has to be.
which makes
I would guess.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
But again, that has to be site and all that.
yeah, and I can address that stuff through the building permit process.
Anything else? Okay.
So the stormwater sewer or the line, it doesn't exist now? There's just an easement there, or is it,
No,
it's in the ground?
It does exist, yeah.
It's in the ground.
just, essentially, that easement area is unbuildable. It's not going to constrain this property too much. They'll just have to relocate the house or move the house slightly over, but it's an existing storm sewer.
And the, getting an entrance permit, is that likely to be an issue here?
That's up to the county.
I know that, but what's your feeling?
I honestly didn't check it out too much. I think it's pretty visible. I think it's a gentle
Sight
slope
lines are
there.
good.
I think they're okay.
I think it goes out of sight of the King Hotel, so.
Yeah, in between, right by the
Yeah,
railway there
yeah,
is kind of where
yeah.
it would be an issue.
It's off
I
the old-
don't foresee a problem.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Jerry, the Grist Street, or sorry, Grist Street, what not traveled nor improved? Like that,
There's nothing there.
there's nothing at all there.
No.
Those bulrushes and cattails.
Lot 45 does have an entrance, does it not? Or is it 46?
46.
It's going to be tough whether it could be right on the line.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah.
Just keep in mind too, these all were original lots within the plan of subdivision of Palmerston. Years ago, in order to allow for some development that was moving forward, we deregistered all these lots. So 10 years ago, they probably wouldn't have had to go through the severance process in order to develop it. So I know the county, from like the access standpoint, will take that into consideration.
So are we gonna add that to the recommendation then, Bill, is what you're saying? Just,
At such time as the severance goes before the county, that these will be our comments.
yeah, okay. Can I have a, Council Turton, seconder, Council Faulkner, all in favor? Okay, good.
Okay, so the next application is B43, B44, and B45, Clare Ridge Estates, which is off of Prospect Street in Palmerston. And so the applicant is proposing to sever 3 lots, and this vacant land is, the vacant land behind these proposed lots is part of the plan of subdivision of, is it Orca? Orsi?
Brothers.
And so staff met, and Public Works noted, Wayne Metzger noted that there is no water service. However, there is a water service that does run down the road. There's just no laterals into the lot. And Mike McIsaac noted that there is no sidewalks or curbs off Prospect Street, this section, so therefore there would be no entrance permits required. And Clerk's Department noted that the frontage fees for the, at a maximum of $221 per meter would apply to each new lot, as well as the $500 for the, in lieu of parkland for each lot as well for the creation. So the lots don't appear, the lots appear to be developable without impacting the future subdivision development. The only concern with taking out of at this time is whether the second roadway access or some other land use may become apparent when full development of that subdivision proceeds. So it might decrease the flexibility of entrance onto that subdivision. That was one thing that was talked about. So as long as the conditions that are included in the county's approval for the application, overall it seems like a good planning move. So the conditions, if you had a chance to read the planner's comments, they talk about the site servicing and safe driveway access to the satisfaction of the town, and that the draft plan, when the plan of subdivision comes back for final approval for that subdivision, that it's redlined to note that these 3 lots have already come off that section of property. So the 2 conditions that we've listed here for this severance is that all financial requirements are to the satisfaction of town, which also includes the $500 cash in lieu of parkland for each lot, and that servicing arrangements are acceptable to the town prior to the issuance of the consent through possibly a development agreement.
Through you, Mayor Bridge, I did a question. The extension of, is that Ragland Street?
Yes, no, Derby. Is it Derby?
Derby, you're
Derby
right,
Street.
Derby Street. And I know, is that an actual road allowance that can be developed into that? Correct. Okay, so, if this was to be developed, then that road would be developed, or would you take a street in off of, Prospect?
That would be up to the developer.
Well, we do have a subdivision design for that piece of property from the Orson Brothers. It would have been nice to have that, but.
Well, the problem is it's got to be drastically amended.
Yeah.
Because that included this syndicated park lot 11 that went to TG Minto. That's all been removed out of it. So essentially it's a free game. They're going to have to redo the lot layout, and it may require that access or it may not.
The reason I asked that, Mr. Mayor, is that it was my understanding there was some issue with the extension of Derby Street.
I couldn't tell you one way or the other.
Remember what it was, or anything like that?
CEO White, do you have anything on that?
All I can say is I have met with Mr. Sinclair and his engineer. I don't know whether you were there or CBO was there or not. It was very brief when he did purchase this subdivision, and they are going to come back with a revised layout on this, and it will not at this point involve a road being constructed out to Toronto Street at any location. So one of the issues with that unopened road allowance is it's well treed and kind of being enjoyed by the neighbors that are there now. So I think they're cognizant of that. But so I think this taking off of these 3 lots will not force any kind of road out that way. But we're comfortable enough with the 3 lots coming off, but council should see the whole subdivision, and I suspect that'll be coming soon.
Okay, thank you.
So, I know they had a,
Councilor
I know
Elliott?
yeah, I'm sorry.
And then,
So after B45 would be the road entrance then. And so there'd be no lots after B45.
we don't know, but assume that would be.
Or there'd be, you could probably have one more lot on a road, right? And so 66 feet.
I would imagine actually it would be similar to the lots across the road.
Yeah.
You'd start stacking them that way.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, Your Worship, through you, Your Worship, that after they sold that piece to TG Minto, I did see a draft proposal on what they were doing there. I thought we had it, but maybe that was just for
That was for the other
certain
group, though, I
people's
think.
eyes only, okay.
Or see the
But I think the engineer and
They've reconfigured everything.
they're gonna redo it after, Mr. Sinclair bought it. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. So where's the sewer line?
It runs down Prospect Street.
Okay,
Oh,
so
it is
is it,
across
which side? Is it the, in front of 12, 13, 14?
I didn't ask what side of the road it run down.
Because it says that there is, it says that there's no water, but there is septic.
Septic? That was laterals extended. So it does have the sewer laterals extended to the property line, but just not the laterals from the water main.
Okay, they must come across the road then.
Else? Motion to accept the recommendation. Councilor Churchman, Councilor Elliott, all in favor?
Okay, and the last severance application is B41, and that's for Roseanne Lynch at Part Lot 26, Concession 17. So what the applicants are proposing is actually a surplus farm dwelling, and they would like to sever off 1.4 acres, which includes that parcel with the house on it, and retain the parcel of 23.6 acres. And both the current and proposed use of the retained parcel is an agricultural use. So staff met to discuss this application, and Public Works, the drainage superintendent, noted that this would require a drainage reassessment schedule at the applicant's expense, and that he also noted that the subject property is off of Wellington Road 3, so that would require a Wellington entrance. And I have on here that we talked about a $500 for the creation of a new lot, so I'm not sure whether we can talk about that one a little bit more. So Mike informed me that through the Municipal Drain Act, whenever there's a severance of property, it usually requires an assessment to be completed. And so that's just that in case, the case would be if a surplus farm dwelling, let's say, comes off and then that parcel is sold or not sold, it's just so that all the people that own the property, the drain is reassessed, so that way if there has to be work done on it or whatever, then they know which land and the different owners that are draining into that property. And he said the estimated cost to do the drainage assessment would be approximately $300, and that would be a fee for the applicant to pay. Now, with this one as well, the planner has asked for deferral, and maybe just flip over to look at the planner's comments on this one. Typically, with a surplus farm dwelling application, you are required to also submit a farm data sheet, and a farm data sheet lists, you are to list all your properties that you have, agricultural land properties that you have on the application. And I know that the applicant did submit a farm data sheet. However, there wasn't any other properties listed on the sheet. And so I think the planner they're recommending deferral until there's clarification with that. Typically, with a surplus farm dwelling application, the retained parcel is typically around approximately 86 acres, because that's what is a functional farm per se. And so in this case, the retained acres is 23.6, and the information that they received on the farm data sheet didn't show that there was other acreage. So I think the planner is asking for the deferral just for clarification if there is in fact other properties that could be consolidated with the 23.6 acres. So if council is interested in supporting this application based on clarification of that data farm sheet, the conditions that staff see would be that all financial requirements are met to the satisfaction of the town, and that a new drainage assessment schedule is completed at the applicant's expense, and that should the surplus farm dwelling application be approved, that the land retained parcel be rezoned so that for no residential use on the retained portion, and that if you notice on your sketch, there is a covered building that kind of straddles the property line. That, oh, you don't have, oh yeah, on the very last sketch with the yellow, you can kind of see there's a covered bridge storage, and it kind of straddles the property line. And so just to have that accessory structure either bisected and removed so that it's not straddling and meets the setback requirements to the satisfaction of the town. And in my comments, I had the parks levy, but Terry and I talked about it, and he said that it wasn't really a requirement because it's technically not a new residential lot, a surplus farm dwelling, so that's why it's not listed as a condition.
Questions?
Through you, Mayor Bridge, that's gotta be a natural severance line, to have a lot shaped like that.
Natural severance lines only occur when it's classed as a navigable waterway. I can't speak today. Being it's a municipal drain, chances are it's not. And that's kind of the...
A technical term.
Yep,
then.
yep.
But there is a municipal drain lining that property.
Yes, correct, yep.
Then that's what they're following, right?
That's gonna be the shape of the lot then?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's okay with everybody?
There's nothing in the zoning bylaw that says lots have to be square or not
It
square.
probably makes sense to go either one way or the other on where the drain is, like, you know.
That's, yeah, not up to me.
Okay. So when they assess that, then, so this residential lot will be assessed. I think is that another municipal drain at the back of the other lot, the lot that's going away? Is that the same one? I can't, on this map, it's hard to,
I think they're two separate ones, because
they're
this
two
goes
separate.
basically,
but they're two separate drains. They're both drains, right?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, this one kind of loops in, so they'll still be on the hook for what anything happens with
Any
that one and
maintenance
this
on it.
other one.
Yep.
Okay.
See where it crosses. the
Yeah,
road.
yeah, oh yeah, right there. Yeah, gotcha, okay. Yep, okay. Understand that. Any other questions? Somebody move to accept the recommendation? Dr. Turton? Dr. Elliott, all in favor? Carried, yep. Carried. Any opposed? I didn't see anybody opposed. I think you're a little slow in the hand, that's all.
Yeah, a little slow. I
A
thought it
little
was
slow
smart,
off
but
the
apparently
gun
I'm
there.
slow.
Good. Well done. Thanks, guys. And Bill, and Terry, you're up.
yes.
Oh, this is nice news.
Yes, my April permit report. We were kind of a little on the busy side. We issued 24 building permits worth a touch over 3.8 million. So that brings us up to 40 permits for the year at about 5.1 million.
Wow.
So trending wise, permits numbers, we're right on our 10-year average, which is 40.3. So at 40, we're doing good. We're about almost 2 million over our 10-year rolling average for construction value. So we've had a really good start. So
Yeah.
that's,
It's still keeping busy.
oh, it hasn't slowed down yet.
And more to come.
Yes, for sure. So, any,
What are the big industrial ones?
Yeah, the big industrial one would be,
that was an addition onto TG Minto.
yeah. How many square feet was it?
Touch over 42,000.
You knew that was coming.
Yes, yep.
Have they got the Tim Hortons severance?
No,
asked for you, or,
Tim Hortons
permits?
have, yeah, I think it's coming tonight for the signing of the site plan agreement, but no submissions,
No
permit
permits, yeah.
submissions have been made.
It's more money.
More money.
All right, any no other questions? Accept? Terry? And Ron, all in favor? Yep. Good work.
Perfect.
And you're on your own, too.
I know. I don't.
Or you're earning your cash now, Terry.
We'll see if we can get you some help.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
If you can do it all yourself, why wouldn't you?
That brings us to the next thing. Well, not quite the next thing, but a little bit of help coming a long way, maybe.
Do you want to start into
You want to do that one?
Very, very briefly, Mayor Bridge, I know we have to move into committee of adjustment soon, and the treasurer, acting treasurer has to get here quickly too, so. We had presented to you back in the first meeting of April, a variety of things that were going on staffing-wise. One of the main things we had was Tim Lewis accepting a position elsewhere. He was our, I say part-time building inspector. He was really at 2/3. It was about 20 hours on average, or a little bit more than that per week. We had talked very briefly about fire inspection needs. In the report, we also talked about options, whether you could partner with another municipality on fire inspections or build it by law enforcement, whether you could contract some of that out. Combinations of those, the fire chief and the CBO, Terry, have looked at those options, have discussed it with other municipalities, and we believe there's justification to look at one 35-hour per week full-time position to replace the part-time position and to allocate the funding that our council has already put in the 2014 budget for fire inspection. The position would work under the jurisdiction of the two managers of those departments. We do that in other situations, so a combined position is the best way for us to proceed, we believe. We're asking for council support that we can proceed to post that internally to begin with. And we will do take the detailed job description to the job evaluation committee if and when the position is hired. I think there was anything more I need to add to that.
I think that's a pretty good synopsis.
Any discussion? Motion to accept. Councilor Turton, Deputy Mayor Fisk, all in favor? I think it's another good way to go, and
Thank you very much. Trust me, I need help.
As you know, when the snow melts, the bylaw stuff comes really through the roof.
So does the building all at the same time.
All those things that were hid are now there, so Terry's been tearing his hair out with not having nobody there to help him, and
Either that or we're gonna give you another $50,000.
I need more hours. Give me some more hours.
No more complaining.
Won't matter how much you get.
Thanks.
okay, thank you. I guess I will continue on as the chair and ask Janet to come up, and she's the acting well, she is the tax collector. I shouldn't say she's the acting tax collector, but she's acting treasurer as well, almost. Welcome, Janet.
I'll just give you a brief rundown of the accounts to be paid for this council meeting. Maitland Valley, their 2014 levy is around $82,000. Public Works Service Fuel for $18,000. Sand and salt around $36,000. Under sewer, we're paying the contract, the wastewater contract for Centre Wellington from January till April for $89,000. The Harrison I&I, we've started there, $14,000. Under recreation, Union Gas, $88,000, and West Stereo is around $16,000. That's just kind of the brief highlight of the accounts to be approved.
Okay. Motion to accept. Councilor Elliott, Councilor Faulkner, all in favor?
Okay, the next is the minutes of settlement. These are the appeals that are sent to MPAC on their assessments, and they're mostly residential to farmland. And there's just 2 of them this time, and they are for the 2013 taxation year. And the lost revenue will be split between the county, the school boards, and the municipality. And I would recommend that the May 2014 report as attached with regards to the assessment adjustments be approved.
Questions? Moved by Councilor Turton, second by Councilor Elliott, all in favor?
Okay, the next report is the 357 applications, and they need to be approved by council before I can issue them. And the 357s were applied for. They were changed in tax class from commercial to residential due to a closing of a business. Incorrect occupancy date on a supplemental. There was a house demolition, and there was an error on a supplemental by impact. The reduction of taxes, once again, will be split between the county and the school boards and the municipality. I'd like to make a recommendation that you receive this report and that these applications be approved.
Questions?
Yeah, just with respect to the error by impact, was that an over-assessment or?
Yes, they had
assessed him-
actually put a new house on the property. So we had caught it, and now we have to get the house removed from that property that they put it on, and then they will resup it onto the proper property.
So we'll get some of this back then eventually?
Yes, we
or-
will. Yep.
Moved by Councilor Faulkner, second by Councilor Henry, all in favor?
The rating bylaw is for 2014, and it sets our tax rates for this year. The municipality has passed their budget on March the 18th. The county passed their budget and all tax policies on April 24th. And the school board has set their rates earlier this year. And recommendation that council of the town of Minto approves or receives the treasurer and the tax collector's rating bylaw report and consider it be attached to be approved.
Questions? You wanna move it? Councilor Elliott? Councilor Turton? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll turn it over to Councilor Turton.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. I think we went through quite a bit of this. We should have maybe talked about it a little bit more when Daryl was here, but I'm not even sure what we want to do. The recommendation.
We already did it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
So,
sorry,
I'll pass it back
I'm
to-
sorry, my mistake.
I'll pass it back to you, Mayor
That
Bridge.
was
Thank
good.
you very much for the
Good
opportunity.
handoff, back and forth, you didn't fumble, that was
Nice
good.
job.
Well handled, okay, that's done, okay. Other business as disclosed, who has other business? I have some, I'll start with mine, I guess. Okay. This is a fun one to do. I'm doing a proclamation of the Communities in Bloom Week. Okay. We're the proud supporters of this. Whereas in Canada, we are fortunate to have a multitude of communities and volunteers committed to fostering civic pride, environmental responsibility, and beautification. And whereas the communities are committed to ensuring sustainable development for future generations. And whereas participation in Communities in Bloom builds community strengths, volunteer, and community development enhancements, social interaction, and creates community pride. And whereas the benefits provided by the Communities in Bloom may boost the economy, create sustainability, enhance property values, and attract new businesses and increase tourism. And whereas our parks and open spaces, green spaces, and trails ensure sustainability, provide space to enjoy nature, help maintain clean air and water, and preserve plant and animal life. And whereas all community levels, municipal, residential, commercial, and industrial, work together to ensure the voluntary sector and private enterprise throughout the county participates in the planning and development of the operation of recreation and parks and programs, services, and facilities. Now therefore it is resolved that the Communities in Bloom does hereby proclaim the week of May 4th through May 10th as being designated Communities in Bloom Week, which will annually recognize and celebrate the benefits derived from the Communities in Bloom and countless volunteers and individuals that make our communities great places to live. Therefore, Town of Minto, in recognition of the benefits and values of Communities in Bloom, do hereby designate week May 4th, 2014 as Community in Bloom's Week. No motion, we can do a motion. Do a motion to accept that. Mayor Fisk, Councilor Turton, all in favor? Great. That's it. Okay, I'll go around the horn here a little bit.
As I guess I'm on the committee for the hospital gala, and they have reserved a table for the town of Minto, and to date, we only have 4 names for that table. Six. And have the other 2 been submitted? No. Okay. There's a deadline kind of so that we can get we do fancy nameplates and programs up with the person's name on it, so it's really quite important that we get those names submitted ASAP.
Okay, will do. Well said, one.
Just quickly, I was at our OSM convention this weekend.
Right.
And several things. Great. It was really a good, informative program this year. A lot of good speakers. Just quickly, one of the best speakers we had was on active transportation, which Minto was, I find, is a leader. A lot of the stuff they talked about, we do, and we're involved in. But they do talk about inactive transportation, as Councillor Hemley will agree. There's more we work more towards roads, and that was brought up today earlier, than we are to sidewalks and getting people moving in on bikes and on using their body to move themselves instead of vehicles. So they feel it's important that we start moving more towards active transportation than roads, although roads are important. For example, he said in even speed limits, one of the things that really kind of shocked me, the speed limits going through a community, he said probably should be at 30 Ks instead of 50 Ks. He made a stat that at 30 Ks, 5% fatality rate. At 50 Ks, there's a 70% fatality rate if somebody was to get hit. So that's pretty interesting. If and our thoughts are always to get people moving through a community with cars and getting them to the places, but that kind of spoke highly of where you're at in your community. He also spoke about sidewalks, and I thought, when I was thinking about that in the safety of our communities, we have a couple of Tim Hortons, that maybe we should consider putting sidewalks out to Tim Hortons. We're almost forcing people to go back on the roads to walk. That's something we can bring up, and maybe before we get too far down the road. Blue water, we talked about that wind turbine that has to go, that's allowed to go up. They beat the system, the wind turbine's high, but it's low enough that it's within the means of what they have. So the way they held them back was the building inspector had too big a pad, or it was too big a pad, so he said you couldn't go ahead, we're not going to give you the right to build that pad, so you can't put your wind turbine up. He's now lowered the cement pad, so now he is allowed to build that cement pad, and he is allowed to put up that wind turbine, and this is right in the middle of the subdivision. So they're trying their darndest to delay it, to find out whether they get out of it and get a loophole out of it. But and they also talked about the 2 helmets program, which is the firefighters, our volunteer firefighters, and the professional firefighters union doesn't want volunteer firefighters and professional people working on the volunteers group. So that's kind of not over in our area, but it could quite easily move into our area. That's something we should keep an eye on. School closures, we were talking about that. School closures are a big item in some places in there. They wanted to put it was suggested they put a moratorium on school closures, but it was brought back that OSM are supporting the fact that we need boards to communicate more so with different councils, because sometimes it's important. Maybe we should close some schools, and not all towns are the same. So that's what they. And our next OSM convention's in Belleville, and we have meetings leading up to that. So it was a very, very exciting weekend, and there's a lot more in that. That just was quickly that I wrote down some stuff that I was attending, and very informative. We got a super group there. We got our election came through, and we've got a new person. Lynn Dolan is now our new chairman. So
Did you get in, Ron?
yes, I
Okay,
did.
well, you didn't mention that yet. We were all waiting with bated breath there, like waiting
Yes.
for that.
So I'm on the board again.
Okay.
All right.
a couple of questions. Brian's not here, but I was up to the bank and the post office today, the grocery store, and some people were wondering if this are cemeteries. When are we going in to clean them up?
Yeah, if I may, Mayor Bridge, anytime you should be open.
Dries up a little bit, so there's some people that have been in there lately and they're asking me, because I guess it's a heck of a mess.
The concern was the tree limbs and that,
Yeah.
and that was a concern before I went on holiday, so
Okay.
I expect any time now they'll be
In there.
working on getting them open.
If we can get like 5 days of like dry weather, it'd be nice.
And I
Today,
just,
tomorrow, and the next day.
and they were sweeping the streets of Palmerston today. And,
They're ongoing now.
Yeah, well, the machine that was there today is like leaving 2 big trails of dirt, and there was dust, and it was going in and out of cars. Like, I thought that was gonna be done, early morning, when there's no vehicles on the roads.
No, they're starting at 4.
Main Street was in the middle of the day.
Was it? Starting at 4 AM, there's two units, and,
I met them on the road going back about.
Anyways, it's just, yeah, to be honest with you, it's a hell of a mess over there.
It is,
It's not- And I'll have to
Terry.
look when we go back tonight, but what they were doing was something, I just, a bunch of people were asking me, so.
A little disappointing.
If I may, I think they stack it and take it away too. Is that sort of what happens?
Well, I'm not sure, but I received complaints, that there are individuals driving around town sweeping and logging onto the road, and it's making a hell of a mess, and it's gonna slow down the street sweeping operations as well as making a mess in your indication.
So there's somebody that's being rented out to sweep.
Someone's going around door to door asking people if they want stuff. I've got to follow up after.
Mayor Bridge, if I may, I'll clarify that with our Public Works Director, because it may be they were doing it, but if it's our guys, I'll give you an update on where that is.
Well, we
if I may.
can maybe check on it, because this is a new company, so we're gonna make sure that they're doing it right.
Like I said, you said there were complaints, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if Brian would have been here, but
It was in the middle of the morning.
I said, well, it was like 12 o'clock
Yeah.
lunchtime when they're in Palmerston.
well, they were starting at early in the morning and
Yeah, for-
running through the day.
Oh, this was on Main Street, that's what he was talking about, so.
All right, well, we'll look into that, but
Okay.
that's first, I wasn't in town today, so. All right, Terry?
I just have a question. Did everybody get the document from Pinksy's? Okay, I'm just, are
Mayor
we
Bridge, that will
dealing
come
with that?
back with the
Yeah.
county planner's
Water
report.
plans report on it.
Okay.
Still waiting for that.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. I would just like to acknowledge, and I'm not really sure if we somehow acknowledged the Norwell Kelp Group. They were out in full force on Saturday morning cleaning up, and I know that the town provides their lunch, but, I mean, Jill Welsh and the Harrison family, I mean, they do a bang-up job, especially around that park, so, what's the name of that park? IODE, yeah.
IOD
Yeah.
park, yeah.
So I'm hoping that do we send a letter, thank you to the Kelp Group?
We can.
If not? The second thing that I'd just like to say is the food bank, the Harrison Food Bank has moved. We're fully moved from the United Church into the old OPP station, and the new committee's been set up and it's working well.
Yeah, I just have a couple of quick items. One, I was at the fire chief's convention on the weekend, and, oh, by the way, David, did you do some of the cooking in it?
Yeah, I helped.
Well, that's good.
I
Thanks.
checked the hot dogs.
Yeah, there's lots of activity, and I want to thank all the other councilors that were out doing the tree giveaway. I wasn't able to be there, so I know a lot of troops were on the ground on the weekend helping where they could. I just wanted to point out at the fire chief's convention, one of the reasons I went down to it was we actually did a presentation to like a keynote speaker talk, and it was Khalees and Chris. And I knew they were going to just talk, but I thought they were going to probably do it in some small room like we were used to with breakouts, right? Well, I'm sure when Khalees walked in and realized that she was going to talk in front of 300 to 400 fire chiefs in a large hall with 2 huge screens behind her, and they did an amazing job, and we can be really proud of them. They talked about social media and how well we do with our social media and how we get our word out on our fire training and fire education. and marketing. Clece did a great job of talking about marketing. She hung on, like, Chris was just dragged along with it. It worked out really well. So anyways, it was great, and people came up to me afterwards, and it's nice, again, I get to take all the credit for the council when you're at one of those things, but I think, Rick, there were some comments that you got when you were down today.
Yeah, I was down, and they were quite impressed with that.
Right.
Actually, George, and people were impressed with you as a mayor to be down there. I thought that was
Well,
very cool.
it's a great group, and the keynote speakers they had were amazing. There was chaps from the Prescott Fire, and
Hilliard,
Senator Hilliard was there today, and it's well run, and it's not hard to get down and back. So maybe another year, some of the councilors can just pop down too, and it's just down at the airport road. It's kind of a nice spot. But that just goes to show. And then Chris also got, he's moving up on the board, and I have to say, when you've got a person like when your chief, fire chief, is so well respected, when you get the deputy chief of Toronto say, thanks for letting him be on the board and all those types of things, it goes to show. And Ron, like you being an OSM, it's important that we're on these things, because they make a lot of the policies, and they got the ear of the government. Right. So I really appreciate what they're doing down there. And then another exciting thing, and Kelp is involved in this too, is we've got all our beds for the community gardens, and on the 10th, I think they might be out on there today. I think the Parks and Rec were putting them out today. They were being built in the curling club. We have 20 raised beds, and on Saturday, if anybody's around, pop down in the morning, say all it's going to take, and we'll put the dirt in them, and we'll be ready to start our first community garden, our pilot project in Harrison. Hopefully that turns into Palmerston and Clifford going down the road. So all exciting.
Mayor Bridge, I forgot one thing. On Saturday morning, we had the Green Legacy tree giveaway.
Yep.
We had quite a good amount of food for the food banks. Plus, I think there was somewhere around $150 given. But there was 5,000 trees given away. Plus, there was 4 or 5 different people that came that pre-ordered. So there was likely close to 6,000. All 6,000 were gone. Hopefully they're all on the ground and growing.
Yeah, they do. Excellent. Again, thanks for everybody for doing that. Okay, so there we are. Moved by Councillor Faulkner, second by Councillor Hemley. The Committee of the Whole convenes in the Committee of Adjustment. Here? That's it. Oh, you know what? That's what's at the beginning of mine. That's why I was wondering what was going on.
We have to start, if I may, we have to start Committee of Adjustment after 5.
Right.
We're definitely after 5.
Oh, sorry, we are really being a little delayed today.
Cheryl, did you get here at 5?
Yes.
Before 5, because you were on time. Well, there's a lot of talking today. So. Okay, this is for a public hearing. I'll chair the public hearing, officially open it. Any decision reached in the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. Public hearing is to consider a minor variance application, file number A514, Michael and Cheryl Reed. Did I get that right? Right. I knew that. That's right. No, wrong, right. And I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer to state the municipal address and legal description of the property for purpose of and effect of the application date notice are sent.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. The property is described as part lot 6, Survey Robertson's, and it's 20 Ann Street in Harrison. The proposed variance is to permit construction of a residential additions with an exterior side yard of 1.82 meters and a lot coverage of 41.59%. Sections 11.2.5 and 11.2.8 of the zoning bylaw require a minimum exterior side yard of 7.6 meters and permit a lot coverage of 40%. Notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet of 60 meters of the property and applicable agencies on April 29th and posted on the lands April 30th. This is a second notice. Staff met to discuss the application, and our staff report is attached. Generally, the staff, the Public Works Director, Roads Foreman, Fire Chief, Economic Development Manager, and CBO had no concerns with the application generally. And the county planner's report is there. The county planner says Staff has no concerns with the relief requested from the interior side yard or lot coverage requirements. However, staff does have concerns with further reduction of the exterior side yard setback. If this relief is granted, will result in a significant reduction from the standard of 7.6 typically required in these zones. The committee should be satisfied that the application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and would be desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Now, consideration should also be given to the potential for this addition to impede any future road expansion in the area. That's it, Mayor Bridge. CVO is here in case you have any.
Yeah, did you want to
comments?
speak? Anything, Terry?
Just like to clarify the planner's comments. I spoke to them after Jameson had sent that through. I think there was a little confusion on their end of things as to what exactly was going on. For one, there's no variance needed for the interior side yard, and the zone actually permits you to use the interior side yard in lieu of the rear. So they were just confused as to what was going on. In conversation with Linda, Jameson, and I'm not sure if he sent it through or not, was basically going to shoot through an email saying comments were the same as before when it initially got circulated, and they didn't really have any issues there. So,
Questions for Terry?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Bridge. I'm just wondering how this addition would impede future road expansion in the area.
I don't know.
I couldn't figure that out either.
Unless we wanted to build it to a multi-lane road. I couldn't, I honestly can't tell you. It is.
That seems to be the biggest concern with respect to the reduced interior side yard or whatever it's called.
It's 6 feet from the property line itself, and then from the property line to the edge of asphalt is another 10. We had discussions in terms of snow removal, whether it was going to be an issue with, you know, winging or, you know, shelving, that sort of thing, and Public Works didn't have an issue with that. I don't understand where that one's coming from.
And then the other question is, talks about this property was created as a result of an OMB decision. Would you have information on that, or does anybody have information on that?
There is an OMB decision on the property. It actually, the property wasn't, Cheryl maybe can correct me. The OMB decision actually had to do with another addition that was built on the house back in the 90s. And it also, ironically, has a 6-foot setback to the property line.
Shaking their head.
Oh. Oh.
Oh,
Okay, so it was, so through the severance, it was, okay, we're needed to legalize the existing situation. Okay.
So there had to be a hearing to resolve that?
It went to the board, yeah. The minor variance was appealed. I think it was the minor variance was appealed. It's been a while since I read it.
So the bottom line, did anything happen?
It got approved as
got
a,
approved
as a
anyways.
Yeah.
The decision was to
Yeah.
go with the approval of it,
Yeah.
so no big deal. Gotcha. Okay.
Whatever was approved is approved.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah.
Nope, sorry.
Just so there's 2 additions you want to do, correct?
Maybe you should.
Yeah, maybe Cheryl.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Carol, get on TV.
Yeah.
Carol was the next person I was bringing up to the witness stand.
Cheryl, there's 2 additions you want to do, right?
There
The
is.
front porch, and then the
Side,
bathroom
it's actually
at
on the side,
which would be
off of Queen,
Queen Street.
yes. Which
Okay,
is,
so that would be the front porch.
uh,
No, no.
it fronts on Ann
The
Street.
front side porch.
Description in the
Yeah.
thing of what you wanted to build.
Right, there's I would consider the front porch off the frontage, which is Ann Street. So this is to come off of a side entry off of Queen at the driveway.
Correct.
So
Yeah, totally
it's a split level entrance. currently a 3x6
Yeah, correct.
with steps, so just looking to make it more acceptable for.
Everybody else all right?
Yeah, okay, yep.
Is everybody else all right?
I mean, you're not all right, my friend. Oh, sorry, I'm right.
I'm not
That's a
all
question I can't answer, I can't ask, I'm sorry.
He's better now.
Any person wishing to address the committee, well, Cheryl's already addressed this somewhat. Secretary Treasurer will provide resolution for the committee to, oh,
If you like, I could read that.
Yep.
Resolution.
be good.
The Committee of Adjustment approves the minor variance application by Michael and Cheryl Wright for properties at Survey Robertson's Part Lot 6, 60R 3222, Harrison, known as 20 Ann Street, Town of Minto, to permit construction of residential additions with an exterior side yard of 1.82 meters and lot coverage of 41.59, whereas sections 11.2.5 and 11.2.8 of this zoning bylaw require a minimum exterior side yard of 7.6 and lot coverage maximum 40%.
Okay. Right, we'll finish this off and then,
Then I'll provide you with a decision that those who are in favor of the decision would sign.
right,
So we need to vote on that.
vote on this. So it's moved by Councilor Turton and second by Deputy Mayor Fisk. All in favor? Opposed?
Oh, no, I'm in favor.
Okay, carried.
Still going inside.
I knew I got him on that one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Still going inside.
Get her done there, Cheryl.
I will state anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision, please sign the request of notice of decision prior to leaving the council chamber following the meeting. I officially adjourn the public meeting, public hearing, sorry. Okay. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Faulkner, the Committee of Adjustment convenes in the Town of Minto Council. All in favor?
You bet.
Thanks, Cheryl.
See you, Cheryl. See ya.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Fisk, second by Councilor Hamley, the bylaw number 2014-29 being the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the May 6, 2014 Committee of Council meeting be introduced and read the first, second, third time and passed by the council, seal with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Turton, the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the committee of the whole. All in favor? All signatures. Moved by Councilor Faulkner, second by Deputy Mayor Fisk, the bylaw number 2014-25 being the bylaw to authorize the mayor CEO to sign an agreement with Todd Farrell for the purpose of executing the Clifford mural agreement at 2 Allure Street, South Clifford, be introduced and read first and second and third time and passed by the council, seal with the seal of corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Turton, second by Deputy Mayor Fisk, the bylaw number 2014-26 being the bylaw to authorize the mayor and the CEO clerk to execute the 2014 tax rating bylaw be introduced, read first, second, third time, and passed by the council, and seal with seal of corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Hemley, second by Councilor Elliott, the bylaw number 2014-28 being the bylaw to authorize the mayor and CEO clerk to execute the site plan agreement with 2398731 Ontario Limited be introduced and read first, second, third time, and passed by the council, seal with seal of corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Turton, second by Deputy Mayor Fisk, the Council of Town of Minto adjourned to meet again to call the mayor. All in favor? Excellent.